Welcome in, everyone, to the Challenge After Show. Today, Jenna, Pam, and I are talking about, oh my God, a two-parter, episode 11, Home of the Brave of the Challenge USA. Ladies, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Confused.
Good.
Are we jumping right into it? This was the weirdest shit show of a finale, strangest thing I've ever seen. I don't understand. There's one specific thing that I'll wait to get to not understanding, but that I was like, is anybody there? Like, is anyone producing this show? Is anyone, usually during the finales, there's like TJ or someone on the legs. I feel like they were just like, all right, go up. Like when someone gets close, we'll fly TJ up to the mountain. And like, you guys have GoPros, we'll edit it together. Go for it. Like, it seemed so
Well, clearly it must have been the elements, right? Like nobody could brave these elements as we see. So that's probably where obviously there was camera guys there, camera and audio was there. So
all right.
we could not deal with frostbite.
Yeah,
Real
can we
quickly,
just get to the spoiler part? I mean, like, I want to, because I have a major question. Like,
what's the spoiler?
So the spoiler, if you haven't watched the episodes, everybody go back. Also, we have a Patreon. Sorry, we got into it so quick. Join our Patreon to hear us talk about Big Brother. But the spoiler, so don't listen to this if you haven't seen it, because so Angela, I'm like, so Angela does not complete the challenge because she opts out on her single on the leg where she's alone and she has to like move dirt all night, a la like the Holocaust, which seemed like an awful job. So they had to do that just to keep them busy. They would make them move rocks from place to a place just to like numb your mind, like just literally torture busy work. So I get it. It seemed awful, but why wasn't anyone there saying like, are you sure? Because this is going to be quitting. I feel like she didn't know. I mean, she must have on some level known, but what wasn't a producer? No one was there to go, if you don't do this, like you have to at least try or you're quitting.
I'm wondering if because TJ literally explained it at the beginning of the final, he said, if you do not complete any leg of this, you're disqualified. And also if your partner doesn't complete it, which we saw, I mean, how many warnings can they give Angela? She saw Enzo and Desi go home on the first leg. So it's like, maybe they didn't say any, maybe they just let her make that decision and they weren't. But I have a bunch of conspiracies that kind of go against that because I feel like producers pushed and pushed in these last two episodes to make sure Angela made it to the final and completed the final. And I'll get to those as we go along. So I have conflicting views there. So I'm not sure, but we'll get into that when we dive into the episode.
Yeah. I mean, it just seemed really abrupt. And like, I guess she also saw Justine not complete it and go on. So in her feeling,
but Justine came over to them and said, TJ said I timed out so he wouldn't let me finish it. Right. So that's how they get through that loophole.
No, and I get it, but it's like,
yeah. Well, we talk a lot about what is harder to complete, cold or hot, and they really struggle. I always say I'd rather be hot than cold. I think cold, it numbs the mind, like you just said, Pam. It just numbs everything. I'd rather be hot than cold. And I think the coldness, I think they're going to realize in future finals, they don't usually do cold. They usually do either hot or just regular temperature. I don't think
they knew. Like, I don't think they planned on it sleeting shit show like
well, they knew the higher you go up a mountain though, Pamela, the colder it gets. They knew it was snowing up there. They had the stuff already ready to go for the Sudoku was waiting in the blizzard.
I mean, it started.
Okay, my overall general thoughts about this final is that I don't doubt it was hard, miserably hard. Dan, I agree. Put me in the heat, make me sweat everything out. I don't function in the cold. I can't do it. Right. However, my overall thought was like, this is kind of weak sauce compared to the competitors on the flagship challenge, meaning like
the food desert. Remember when they were like,
they had to eat. They've been, oh my God, these other challenge competitors have been in the Alps and they've been on snow-covered mountains and hills and they've scaled icy mountains. They've been in the desert. Like, for that many people to drop in this final, again, I wasn't there. I don't doubt it was hard. The strength is in the numbers, but I mean, Danny was chilling. But if you put it in perspective, how some competitors competed versus others, if you put some of the best competitors of the flagship challenge, you put CT, Bananas, Wes in this final, they're not stopping at
Correct.
the that the other competitor stopped, and they're not like wincing at an onion. I'm sorry, I get an onion might not be tasty, but
I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about this.
Okay, let's.
All right, we gotta go. Let's. This is so. All those are great points. I can't wait to add on to them. There's gonna be so much fun. Let's go all the way to the beginning of the first part of the first, like the 2-hour episode. The first part of the first hour. There's all those vignettes that we saw, all garbage except for one thing. We finally get the reveal of who the hell Kiki is, and it's absolutely fantastic. We get to see, I believe that's his daughter, obviously, with Kiki.
Yes.
And we see the family unit. We see how much they love each other. And for all those people that go back to the beginning of the season and they're like, oh, Dan doesn't like Mel and Cachet's relationship. It's because it sucks, because it's not real. When I saw Danny and Kiki, I immediately was like, they need their own show, and I will be first person in line to watch it. It is, I love them together. I love everything about Danny, especially now at the end, but obviously throughout the season, we saw him kind of float. Even Dom said it tonight. He didn't, but now it's like game on in this. Love Danny, love everything he's about, and just props to him. But I'll let you ladies expand on that.
Forget Kiki and Danny, that baby.
Well, sure,
oh my God. Their baby just had so much personality. Like, that baby turned it on. Kiki was like, it's daddy. And she's like,
like all moments led up to this. They've been planting the little seeds of Kiki every single episode this entire season to the grand reveal. There's nothing you can't like about Danny. Like, I aspire to be a person like him. I just feel like he has his head on straight. Like, he's just so kind and lives with an open heart. Like, you never see him frustrated or get angry or mad at people. I need him to like give me a motivational speech and be my life coach.
He's a very positive person. You don't really hear a lot of negative things out of him. And he actually said something funny tonight too, which wasn't about Kiki. Finally, he said a thing about, he's like, am I worried about this get tired challenge? No, because I got Enzo in it against me. He's not. I know he's coming in last. I'm all set. I was like, that's so good.
He lives in last place.
And, right. I mean, and later on, we're going to get into Enzo, and I cannot wait to see Jenna try to bail him out on this one. This is going to be bad for you, Jenna.
No, I won't. There's no effort in bailing him out. I think his quitting was despicable, and he left Desi in such a horrible It's really like really weak and unforgivable. Like, Enzo, you look just like a damn fool.
Mm-hmm. And that's why it's so selfish to be like, I want to go to the final. Why? You're going to be partnered with someone that's why you don't go to the final, Enzo, because you're not just screwing yourself over. Oh, well, oops. Like, you're totally destroying someone else who had a good shot. Like, she was like, well, at least I get my Enzo part over with first. It's like, honestly, and swimming.
First and last.
Yeah, first and last. I feel she's like, Enzo, please. He's like, help. I hate him. I wanted to kill him.
It was so obnoxious. It's like, Enzo, do you not watch our after show? We talk about the 5 assets, and literally we leave swimming as one. It's one of the 5. It's not like it's like a side note. Swimming is literally on as like, you need to be able to swim to be good at the challenge. And it's insanity to me that he can't do it at all.
Driving me nuts.
And it's so funny that you like accused Enzo. Like, don't you watch our after show?
Well, that's the joke I was going for as I pre-planned my list of funny jokes I'd make throughout the. Yeah.
Enzo should watch ours. He would have done better. The other thing that makes me want to murder Enzo is that literally swimming, you can float. You can do nothing. You have a life jacket on. You can lay on your back and do nothing. And Desi could have pulled him. It's like he was just like, no, help. I quit. I'm sorry. It's like you could legit lay there and do nothing. And your partner could have helped you finish that. Like Tyson was like, hold on to my feet.
Yeah.
Justine. He's like, hold on to my feet as he backstrokes. Like, if Enzo could have calmed down. I understand you get scared. He's like, I can't breathe. It's like, you have a flotation device.
You're not going to. I wonder. I'm trying to think of other ways that you can, because he had a panic attack basically in the water, and he couldn't figure out a way to get out of the water. Like, he just couldn't wrap his brain around. Just go towards the shore. So I'm wondering, there's other situations that happen in, but we don't really see it on the challenge so much. I'm trying to think another time that they panic in a small contained area. We saw it with Taylor and Big Brother this week in the dark. When she was in the dark, she had to complete that. So I guess those are other times where you have those panic attacks. But It's like, you
If you
gotta
have a
get.
strong fear, of course, but it's on Enzo's track record. This is not the first thing he's quit. And again, Pam, he does have a flotation device. And even when he gets to the boat and he can catch his breath, Desi's still begging him, like, get back in the water. We can figure it out. We can do it. And he's just like, no, hell no, I quit. That's it. It was just like a completely selfish move.
What an asshole.
Enzo quit.
He really sounded like an asshole.
I wanted her to be harder on him. I wanted Desi to be like, you just took $500,000 from me, you selfish piece of shit. Why did you come this far? You can't do shit.
I think she was in utter shock as well, though, that she could not get him to just finish this one thing. But we saw Enzo quit earlier in the season on that height thing. Remember, he couldn't do like a rope swing or something like that, and he's like, I'm not doing this one either.
Well,
he's afraid of heights. He's afraid of swimming.
Enzo in the final. That's the reason he doesn't do anything.
Well, it's funny because Kayla said, everyone here deserves to be in the final. And I said, Kayla, I'm not sure you do. And I know damn sure Enzo doesn't. This is all of us even before Enzo did his big thing. So I was like, okay, does everyone really deserve to be in this final? Do y'all really deserve to be there? Going into the final, we'll not that we're going to skip it to this, but I do have to ask you ladies this question. Guys and girls, who did you think really had a chance to win this? Because for me, it was Danny and Tyson. That's all I gave. I didn't give anyone else a chance for guys. And girls, it was obviously I thought Angela was just going to win it.
Angela was
I think that she probably would have if it wasn't for her. Oh my God, her debacle of a mistake.
I'm so mad at her, and like I feel like they didn't tell her again. How many times can you tell her? But it's like that will be quitting. Do you want to quit? I feel like if they said that to her, she wouldn't have made that choice.
I understand that, but I think they thought TJ said it. Sorry, Angela, we gave you enough. I can't wait till all these conspiracies I have though for Angela as well. One of them you kind of nailed it with the onion thing. Well, also, Jenna, because she's vegan, she's not eating meat, right?
Yeah, that was really.
It's like a layup.
Topic. It was really frustrating to watch because Nehemiah is a damn vegan, and we saw him on All Stars.
They made him do it.
Pounds of meat, and that's what I said. It was weak sauce, and that was one of the points that really frustrated me. And my husband surprisingly was actually like in defense of the food. He's like, really? Oh, it's disgusting. And I was like, I'm sorry, what the hell? Onions are disgusting. Sure, nobody wants to eat them like an apple, but you have onion, garlic, and lemon juice. These are food items. These are organic food items, if you will. These are almost somewhat healthy food items.
I'm so right. Tyson's like, well, I was going to do this when I got home anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, these are not cow balls. These are not pig eyes. These are not beef links. Like, these are not things covered in flies that look like an animal just took a crap on the side of the road that other competitors have had to do. It's just
not a face.
So frustrating.
It's not a face. It's a fucking onion and garlic. Like the food challenges always terrify me more than anything. And this was like, all right.
And I think I honestly think producers sat down. They're like, look, honestly, I think they sat down and said, we have to give her an onion when we want her to represent the US, right? They got her past that part in the thing. No problem, easy. And then they're like, she wants to quit on us now after all these things we're doing to try to guarantee that she does well in this final. Screw it, we're done. Maybe my conspiracy is going a little over the top, but I really do believe that there's something that went into it to ensure that Angela do well in this final. And the food thing was a given. And then they're like, you're going to go against us now and not even finish a dirt moving challenge? Screw you. That's a quit. We're not going to warn you.
No,
maybe no, we're not going to help you out here.
I like that. But also, just to this point overall, is how many liberties can they take? How many times can they jump in to tell somebody if you stop this, you're going to quit? I would think though, Pam, to your point, that producers would do that pretty often. Producers are heavily involved,
Right.
I'm sure that they step in all the time just to make sure that people know the rules or to make sure that, think about a production day. They're kind of, I don't know, they have a schedule to sort of maintain. So if someone's 10 miles on the other side of the mountain, they probably have to be like, hey buddy, the course is that way. They kind of have to
when Natalie got lost in Africa.
Well, it becomes a safety, it becomes a safety issue as well. If they're wandering off to a cliffside mountaintop, no, come back, please.
So there is the instance of should they have stepped in to clarify, hey, Angela, if you don't do this, you're out of the game. But also at the same time, is that unfair to do to the other competitors? Because Dan, like you said, TJ made it very clear at the beginning, if you don't complete a checkpoint, you're out. This is a checkpoint. That's a clear instruction.
We're grown adults. How do you not follow directions like that? It's not like it's even hidden. He said it outright. Complete each one.
Oftentimes,
He didn't
TJ's like, "Are
complete-
you sure you want to quit?" to people. He's like giving little motivational speeches. So it's weird that in this, it's just like the next day they let her go to sleep and wake up ready, and then it's like,
well, our boy Benny J. Adams is going to get an interview with Angela. You can check it out. I'm sure, hopefully, he asks her that very question. Did producers say anything to you when you decided strategically to go to sleep instead of completing that task? When did TJ really say that to you at the beginning, or did they cut that in somewhere later? Like, those questions need to be asked, and unfortunately we don't have Angela on the show, but those are obviously ones that we would all ask her straight up and see what she says.
It leads me to believe that producers did not step in clearly, and it almost makes me respect that. Not almost, it does make me respect them for doing that, because they just let the game continue. They just let the game be the game, and they didn't step in. And we all kind of think that they wanted Angela to be the person to represent the United States in the challenge game, but seeing as though she was going to quit, they didn't step in to reverse that. And that makes
Thank God they did. And that's my point, though. Thank God they didn't, because they gave her a bunch of other ways to get to where she was here. I was very afraid that the next morning TJ was going to say, Angela, you didn't complete the task. You have a 5-minute time penalty. And I was so afraid that I was like, there's going to be so much controversy if you do that. And thank God he didn't. And, because TJ makes all the rules. So he was like, nope, you're out of my final.
yeah.
But there was a part of me that thought that they might do that. And I was like, no, it's not going to be a good look.
But remember, this is also a different version of the challenge, so maybe there's different producers behind it. So normally we're used to seeing the challenge on MTV where TJ does step in, or maybe producers can nudge them a little bit, but this is a different network.
Well, they're lucky that two people, what if two people didn't make it to the final? Like, what if two people actually didn't even complete the damn thing? Like, that's so, like, you're letting all these people quit. Hello, maybe you should try to get some of them to get back. Maybe you should influence them a little bit. Your biggest boy Tyson is cramping out. He's done.
Yeah, but it's like we said, or I mentioned on the last show, with like, there's too many people in the final, and the finals are suffering. Overall, I didn't enjoy this final, and I haven't really enjoyed the final episodes of the challenge in years because of all of this dumb, you're partnered with this person on this event, you're partnered with this person on this event. What they had to do with the girls, I mean, I guess it was the only way to make it fair.
It sucked. I wrote it down. It sucked.
How annoying, and what bullshit is that? So Ben sadly can't perform, which
that was awful.
Really heartbroken about. I think he had a really good chance, so he can't perform. So now all of a sudden some girls have to compete alone. I mean, shit, poor Desi. You would have wanted to be Sarah in that situation. Then you benefited to be alone.
Yeah.
However, there's a lot of times where it sucks to not have a partner.
Right.
Just hear me out on this idea that I had, ladies. Enzo and Desi go out. Clearly, it's unfair to Desi, right? And we also find out that obviously we know that there's one girl competing by themselves. How hard would it have been on that second stage to just say, hey, guess what we're going to be doing? Desi's coming back. We really don't think that that's fair. I know we made the rule. Desi's back in. It'll be every opportunity to be a girl-girl pair each time.
Right.
Because fucking Enzo sucks. Sorry, guys. And I think everyone would have understood. Yes, it would have been a little unfair, but I think it would have been I think it's the right thing to do there. I know it goes against what TJ said, but I'm sorry, but that was garbage.
Edit that out. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I'm sorry, but I'm like, we need even teams. They can say whatever the hell they want. Sorry, but we really need to have even teams for this. But they obviously already started off with a girl. It
was a really big bummer. I agree. And I'm so mad at Enzo for doing. It's like, you can't do any of this. Why are you going to do that to a partner? Fuck you. It's so.
I wrote down when Enzo's freaking out in the water. I wrote down, this final is going to the shitter so fast.
Yeah, seriously.
It just was. It was already uneven teams. We had a girl working by herself. Like, it's so ridiculous.
A memory and a puzzle. Like,
well, Justine got screwed. That Justine one, that's garbage.
Angela, that's
final. This final sucked.
Yeah,
it really was really hard to watch, and they need to do eliminations before they put this many people in a final. And just the whole being partnered with different people throughout a final, I hate, and I don't think it's a good strategy. And it's like what Wes said in our interview with him, is a final is not even a good way to showcase who the best person on the show is anymore. It's not really
Not
Like,
the way they're doing them now.
Not if they're doing it with partners. Yeah.
if you're
Also,
with a partner, it should be because that was your partner the whole season. And I understand this show has a different theme and they have been partnered with random people and they brought the algorithm in. So in some point, like it was on theme with the show, but at the same time, it's really not fair to the competitors. You just make them run it by themselves. This is now the final.
yeah.
And
Each
you know what's so
one
crazy?
for themselves.
What's so crazy about them all quitting is the fact that TJ's like, hey, if you complete the final, whatever money's in your bank account, you get to keep. Like, let's just say for Sarah, for example, I know she won or whatever. Sarah had $15,000 in her bank account. Most people back in the early 2000s competing on the challenge were playing for $15,000 and she could get it for getting last freaking place. That's insanity to me. And these people who their fingers, I get they're falling off in the cold. I'm sorry, but it's weak sauce, like you said, Jenna. If I had someone saying, hey, Dan, complete the gnarliest final ever, which it wasn't even that, for $20,000 that you already have stored up in your bank account, I would go until I lost a couple fingers. I'm sorry, but I want 20K in the goddamn bank, and I can still have my other hand. Oh my God, I can't believe they all quit. It was so dumb.
Also, so that, yes, I agree with everything you just said, Dan. But also, now I have to go back to just the overall pacing of the episode. So we spend the first hour watching a normal episode where bye Alyssa goes home. Yeah. Then it goes into the final. In the final hour, I just had to rewatch the last like 20 minutes this morning because I was like, what the fuck happened? I feel like I was watching a final.
What is happening next week that they couldn't just split these up and have next week be another thing? Is it too close to the finale of Big Brother? Are they worried that they're not going to get enough viewership? No, there's something to this though, because there's no reason they couldn't have given us the Alyssa elimination tonight. And that's all we talk about right now. And then we get a finale next week. I mean, next week is what?
I gotta be completely honest with you. When I saw that they rolled right into another episode, I like sighed of annoyance. I didn't even want to watch the final. I don't know why.
Lady,
show is not hooking me.
Pamela, I want to get.
There's
Pamela, what's your opinion on this? Because I feel like I want to say mine last now. My opinion of these two episodes.
Okay, so Jenna didn't. I felt like okay. This is how I felt then. So the first episode, fine, was a regular episode. Then the beginning of the finale, it was like normal. It was like riding a roller coaster. And then the last half hour, I was like, wait, what? Like I felt like I had whiplash. I had to watch it again. It's like kind of, they're showing the swimming, they're showing the pairing, they're showing the things. And then it's like, we get to a Sudoku and everybody quits and Danny and Sarah win. And I was like, wait, what? Like after the Angela thing was like the peak, they just were like, zoom, and this happened. So that's how I feel. It went so fast. We didn't get to see all of a sudden they're doing a Sudoku and everyone's crying and their fingers are numb and it, you know, they took you normal pace through the eating, the first puzzle, the dirt thing, the night. And then it was just like, honestly, I don't know what happened. They get Angela sent home. The next leg is the final leg is the mountain and the Sudoku in the end. And everyone's crying and shivering, and then Danny and Sarah win. Like everyone quits, and it didn't like lead up to that. Was all like rushed.
Really? Okay. So let me try to bring you girls maybe back to the middle, because to me, these last two episodes, I think were like, and this is a shitty season, were my favorite of this season, because I've been very negative on the majority of this season. I actually enjoyed these two, not for the things that you might think, because obviously I think that I hate quitters. But I thought there was like so much drama and a lot of it made me laugh. Like Enzo freaking out, like Sarah going from like literally looking like she was dying in a corner under a bush to then somehow coming back to also she thought she had last place. Like I thought there was a lot of fun drama and a lot of the fact that you got Tyson to quit. Like the baddest dude to supposedly ever appear on this new age challenge because he's talking shit on Johnny Bananas on social media recently, saying he can do whatever Johnny can do. You got him to quit, Mr. Cocky Mouth. Yeah. Like I loved it.
Let me clarify. I think I'm just coming from like a purely personal standpoint where I've liked this season. You know, we liked it early on in the beginning, but then we started to notice that it was lacking the reality TV sense. Like we also want,
which I feel like this had though. That's why I liked it.
I mean, the final was weak sauce and the final was kind of crazy and sucked, but it definitely was interesting to watch. What I mean is like in the world of TV right now, there's so much good TV right now.
I know.
And to have to watch 2 hours of it back to back, I kind of was like, honestly, if I wasn't doing the after show, I'd probably want to watch something else
No,
because
I understand that.
from the show. So when it rolled right into it, I was like, oh God, like, all right, here's another episode, because they have all the vignettes that are like fluffer and drag on that are unnecessary. You have people who aren't really great competing in the finals.
Yeah.
But the final episode was good. But when I saw that we were good, entertaining to watch. But when I saw that we were going into it, I was just like, oh God, I got to stick around for another one of these.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. It was the regular setup that we saw. We knew Danny, we got to see Danny's family. We finally got to see Kiki. We saw Justine. We saw Angela. We sort of knew who the players were going to be in that elimination and moving forward. I felt terrible for Ben. I felt kind of bad for Alyssa. And I did enjoy Angela's emotional breakdown because she obviously did care about Alyssa, which was crazy. For me, the show was about Angela and Tyson. They're the only people, and Danny a little bit, that I kind of care about, that were strongly enough developed as characters to give a shit about. So it was a super bummer for Angela to so unceremoniously, when I agree that it was set up to have her succeed. I don't understand what's bad about onions and garlic. I really don't. I don't think that that's a scary food challenge. So after that, I was like, okay. And then it just literally again roller coastered for me to the ending. It was just like bloom, 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 just snowball going down a mountain, and then it was over. It was so
there was something about, and this is just super off topic and random, when Tyson's running through the snow, like it gave me like a very nostalgic childhood vibe, because that's I grew up in the snow, and I was like, man, I know it's cold and I get that, but like I loved just being outside in the snow with the trees kind of hovering over you, almost like creating like a canopy. And I don't know why, I just love that vibe. And that's another reason. I mean, there's so many reasons why. I don't know what was going on with me in this episode.
Said, like, this is what I would do for fun with my friends in Oregon or wherever the hell it's from.
Yeah, I know. I kept eye rolling the whole time. I was like, is he the most annoying person ever? Like,
I love him.
Who, Tyson?
He's so over the top obnoxious. I mean, I think he's
How about when they were on the truck or something, and he's like, oh, they're freaking out. That soothes me. I was like, that's hilarious. Like,
no, he's funny.
It was funny. I mean, yes. So a lot of people agree with you though, Jen, in the chat last week, a lot of the comment section. They're like, oh, thank God Jenna's here. She's finally, she's telling us that because Tyson sucks, blah, blah, blah. He's so annoying, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I can see why people don't like him totally. But he's got like Wes vibes for me, except for the fact that he can't complete a final. So actually not so much, but yeah.
But I do think everything he says is sarcastic. I guess because 3 people quit, there wasn't even any shit talk. Like, you guys are going to quit? You, Tyson? I wanted TJ to be like, Tyson, you big mouth.
Well, listen, Tyson in that moment, Pamela, was asking everyone else, hey, Dom, are you quitting too? Oh, hey, Justine, are you quitting too? And then when they said they were, he's like, yeah, I think me too. Like, he didn't want to be the only one to quit there. I think if they pushed him further, if they were going to keep going, I think Tyson would have kept going. I don't think Tyson wanted to be the only one to quit there.
So dumb that it was like, okay, we're all just going to quit. Like, okay, bye guys. Like,
oh no, it's no. Look, that aspect of it sucked, but at the same time, I was really rooting for Danny. Like, and Danny or Tyson, I didn't really care who won, because Tyson could have just lived up to his cockiness, or Danny, who I just think is a really good dude, deserves a win. So either way, I was fine with that. It was the girls' side where I was more conflicted, because the episode before, when Sarah got power because she won the tire thing, I'm like, oh no, now she's got power. This is going to be the worst. And it's weird because I went from like, can't stand Sarah all season, still, and then like, but in this final, she looked dead to noon. Like, she was done. And then to overcome something like that, I still don't like her as a person, but I can always appreciate someone going from the bottom to the top on their own pure adrenaline. So in a way, and did you see her smile at the end? She wasn't doing this with the eyes. She was just doing this. And she looked like a different person. And it was weird to see. And I'm excited to see those two compete in the next, in the world tour, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, I do agree. After Sarah's Blair Witch moment, like, I'm so low.
It was Blair Witch.
She did deserve, for as far as that word goes. She did. She pushed through. She deserved it. I wanted TJ there talking shit to Justine and Dominic and Tyson. Like, you three are all gonna freaking quit.
Oh, Kayla too. Kayla too.
It's like, you four are just gonna quit. Like, they got to just quit with no one. It's like, I'm quit. Okay, bye. Next. It was so
is it because it's on CBS and they don't want these people, like, literally they look like they were getting hurt, and CBS is afraid to show, like, we hurt people on our shows, but then again they have Survivor. Doesn't Survivor show them like dead to dying and stuff? Like, so I just wonder, like, are they too afraid to show them that down on their luck? Like, oh, we need this to be a positive outcome.
I don't think so. I don't think.
I don't know. I'm just asking to ask it. I don't know if it's true or not.
I don't think so. I think that they probably do show them that. I think literally TJ just like showed up in the beginning and the end, and it's really stupid to like give the announcements. It's like TJ helicoptered in to fire Angela.
He was gone because
like he wasn't there shaming them like we want him to be.
Yeah.
Shame.
So yeah, those are I had the conspiracy with the onion, obviously. The other conspiracy I have goes back to the first part of the episode where Tyson and Dominic tie at 52 points in that tire challenge. And instead of making one of them the winner with Sarah, they let them both be the winner. So now there's 3 winners. Therefore, no matter what, there cannot be a tie with who goes against Angela, because my conspiracy is they didn't want there to be a tie. They wanted someone to have to break the tie between Tyson and Sarah. And that was Dominic in this case. But that's just my conspiracy there. Like, they could have just made one of them the winner, but they didn't want to go to a tie. I don't know. They wanted Angela to have the best chance to get to the final. They were afraid they'd put her against Alyssa. Maybe she doesn't want to play Alyssa. She'd rather play Kayla. I'm just throwing a conspiracy out there for fun. But
yeah, I don't know about any conspiracy, but I really enjoyed the tire challenge. I thought it was really good. We saw Angela do something that I was thinking about myself when she entered the puzzle, and I'm like, oh, you have to be really confident in your puzzle skills, because if you get that 20 points, yes, you're head and shoulders above the rest, but if you don't, you're fucked. And she only got 20 points at the end of it all. And the other girls were pulling it back.
You said 23, right? 23.
Right.
I think she should have given up when she did, and then
she didn't give up. I
think she should have, when she was like, I think I'm just going to cut my losses and move on.
Yeah,
she should have, because she spent over an hour.
So that's crazy to me. So they said 30 minutes left, and they were given 2 hours. Say it takes like 15 minutes for that swim part. She spent an hour and 15 minutes trying to solve that puzzle. That is absurd. I can't imagine even focusing on something, a puzzle, for an hour and 15 minutes without getting successful. I would have tried that for 10 minutes. There's 10 minutes tops. Get out of there.
She saw Tyson showed her the completed. It's like, you also.
Yeah, but showing someone a completed rotating puzzle versus like a puzzle, you can't copy that. Like, Justine could easily copy him in that other one, because it's literally like, okay, a triangle goes here, a square goes here, I'm done.
You know what you're looking to complete. It should make it a lot.
She knew it was like a bird.
She must have had some sort of brain fart, because I was like, Angela, what is happening here? Like,
and I wonder if, I mean, she only, like Jenna said, she only finished with 23 points, which means she went back and got like 3 more, a tire that was worth 3 or something. Or 3 tokens, right? I mean, that's it.
It was a bold move that didn't pay off, unfortunately.
But I want to give a lot of credit to Dom, because he's like the dad bod, out of shape one, has this regular life and regular job outside of being on the show, but he crushed it and he performed so well. And the fact that Tyson, I just want Tyson to like eat his humble pie. I know everyone looks at like here, and you guys think that, or Pam, at least, you think he's being sarcastic and dry, but I don't know. I think his cockiness rubs me the wrong way. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if it's sarcasm. I don't know if he's just joking, but
I think I told
that he had to eat that a little bit, and that's someone like Dom who doesn't look like he has the endurance of a Tyson and do the bigger puzzle like Tyson did. Finished in the same situation.
Dom like is the opposite of Tyson, in that he like is self-deprecating, but is like not. It's like, don't take me seriously, and it's like, oh no, we should be taking Dom seriously. Like, he puts himself as the not scary guy, but it's like, no, you're as good as anybody else with this stuff.
Yeah, Dom basically made it as far as Tyson did. Yeah. They both had the frozen fingers and they were done. But I mean, I think Tyson at that point had more points. Another thing I liked, at least with the final, is they were going to have the points carry over to day 2, ladies. We always complain about that, but the points mattered on day 2.
Yes.
Everything they did on day 1 was going to matter for day 2 in theory. At least it carried over, unlike usually where they're like, all right, fresh start.
Reset.
Get to the top of that mountain first. And it's like, oh, so what the hell was the point of week 1 or day 1? So they kept that around. I thought it was interesting. They showed Dom running in slow motion. I'm like, okay, that is a dad bod. That is the definition. But he is in the final. It's like, where is the challenge going? We usually have these like jacked up dudes out of their mind, like a Zach.
But I love that example
Alton or whatever.
Yeah, I love the example of, I guess it doesn't really matter what your body looks like in terms of your strength and health. You know, like when Jemmy was running up the Rock of Gibraltar or whatever it was, like challenge, and she's like a mile ahead of Kayla, who sells on Instagram. She's like, all these fitness models, all these fitness Instagrammers are behind me. I love that it doesn't always come down to, you know, your body type or how strong you look.
Yeah, and you know what also is crazy is there's a lot of moments in this show where Sarah could have given up knowing that she was in last place. It just goes to show you, you have no idea what the people ahead of you are doing. Every season we see it. They could have quit. They could have gassed out. They could have be stuck on a puzzle. They could have finished. You don't know, though. And that's why the challenge is like, as a fan, it's like, you want to just scream at your TV. Why are you giving up? Anything can happen in this game. It's so incredible to see that she didn't give up. I mean, now the question is, did she have a producer in her ear saying, hey, look, everyone quit. We need you to finish. Did that motivate her? We'll never know. Maybe it comes out in an interview somewhere. We won't know, though, because why would Sarah divulge that? But that's another fun little conspiracy to think about, because literally, if only Danny finishes, who the hell's representing? Are we giving it just whoever got closest to Danny? No, they said you had to finish the damn final to get the money and therefore represent the U.S. So you wonder, is there some conspiracy out there where a producer said, because Sarah was in a bush trying to figure out that bubble puzzle, and they're like, Sarah, no one else made it. Just finish it. Maybe not.
No way they were expecting these hot shots not to finish the final.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that they didn't. I mean, if you think about it, it is the best of the best. And if you quit, that means you're not the best and you can't make it.
And let's forgive the producers a little bit. They knew Ben wasn't going to compete. They fly Ben all the way out to Patagonia, it's funny because they're wearing Under Armour, so I got a kick out of that. Just me making that reference.
That's funny.
And then it's like, so they knew Ben. They knew that girl thing was gonna happen. God, come on, producers. You knew Enzo had to swim. Maybe you didn't assume he'd quit, but shouldn't you be prepared for that as well? So maybe I should not give the producers any credit. They should have known these things were gonna happen. They should have known Ben wasn't gonna perform because they knew he couldn't. They should have known Enzo wasn't gonna finish, and therefore the pre-selected algorithm, we already knew Desi was going to be with him. So you should have known that Desi was going to have to go home. You should have known you were going to lose those 3 people at the beginning of the final, and you should have been prepared for it better than you were. So now I'm not giving producers credit.
I have a fun fact. I think it's Patagonia. It might be RE or ER, whatever.
They're both outdoor equipment clothing companies.
Well, one of them is specific for what it is, though. Hold on.
Isn't it REI or is it RE?
REI, I don't know. Hold on.
I've been to that store too. Anyways, what Patagonia is like, Patagonia is so funny too because it's so big on the East Coast because there's so much skiing. Well, I guess it's probably big out here too, but every time I'm home, everyone's wearing Patagonia. But they're from Ventura, California, because I looked up where their base is. Like the dude created it or it's like home base is Ventura.
That makes sense. I feel like a lot of things like that come from California.
Hold on. It is Patagonia. This is an uplifting fact that I learned yesterday.
Okay.
So the Patagonia CEO, Ryan Gelbert, who has $3 billion, was like, there's no need for me to be a billionaire, and gave his $3 billion to the earth, to climate change. It's like, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Like, I don't need $1 billion, let alone 3. And gave all his money. Like the first person, like all the memes were like, my grandfather gave my inheritance to Greenpeace. Like that's pretty much what he.
I mean, he could have kept $1 billion for himself. I mean, $2 billion would have sufficed.
I'm like, I'm sure he's like, his family's not going to have to eat cat food. I mean, I'm sure he kept 10 million. Like,
I'm sure he's fine. Yeah.
He's no longer a billionaire.
But no, here's my worry about that though. If that $3 billion does not fix the climate, then we're done. Like,
I mean,
that's enough. You've thrown so much money at it. You've thrown $3 billion at helping climate, like preventing, I guess, climate change.
He could probably definitely preserve a certain area of Patagonia. I mean, like, it's not going to save the world, but you can definitely save.
He should have given $1 billion to like cancer. I think $1 billion to cancer research. That'd have been nice too.
Climate change is pretty important too. You know, we're all gonna die of cancer if we get ozoned. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's gonna. It all's part and parcel. It's all. You can't.
So very negative, Pamela, right now.
Tell him where to put his.
No, I'm saying it's good.
Yeah. The challenge after show feels you should put your money this way, sir.
Right. No, I'm saying this. The CEO of Patagonia's whole thing is natural resources in the outdoors. So
yes, understood.
That's what you want to do. And you could. There's so much with the environment. Like, I just listened to This American Life about a snail species that went extinct, the bean snail, and who cares? But the point is, there's so much that if that's what you care about, you can be trying to save the red barked whatever tree that's native to. There's a lot of things to do with money and the climate. So I think it's good for him.
Hey, look, the fact that the man donated that money is fantastic.
And everybody, right. I agree. There's no need for anyone to be an individual billionaire multi times over. So, like, if you're at that point, it's like you can do something with that, something that you care about. Anyway.
Ladies, do you have any other thoughts on this final?
Stupid.
God.
One word to describe the final, Pamela. Stupid.
And also, it's like those people with the Sudoku and the mass exodus, couldn't they have like huffed on their fingers until they timed out? And
well, maybe, again, I don't even know if there was a timeout for that stuff, though.
Sit there and whatever, and then make it up.
Like they let Justine time out, but then Sudoku doesn't have a timeout.
Yeah, that's an issue. That is a big issue.
How hard was the Sudoku, or are they just really bad at it?
What did she? Okay, so Justine timed out on the one where she was forced to go by herself, correct?
Yes.
So maybe that's why they allowed her to time out. They didn't want her to have to go all the way back because she clearly didn't know all the numbers. She would have had to go back because she had to memorize all of them. They realized, look, at that point, they realized their flaw in their system, but at the same time, the games had already probably been made. We're like, oh crap, the girl's gonna have to run these by herself. Well, the eating one she might be able to do. Now, for that number one, why couldn't they have just given her half the damn numbers then? They gave Angela half the damn dirt.
I'm sure they gave less numbers.
It looked like she had a full tree load of numbers. And the way that game worked, they needed the full set of numbers to complete By the way, that was the worst stage because I didn't know what was happening with that puzzle. That wheel they had to turn. I'm like, how unfun is this to watch? I don't know what the hell's going on.
It was a decoder section.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
Yeah, well, that decoder de-sucked.
Not your decode.
Yeah. I just want them to do a final where everybody can just compete for themselves
individually, right?
True individual winners, because you're always tied to somebody, and that can make you better.
Unless you're linked up the entire.
Make a fair, true winner. You know.
What if you're linked up the whole season though? Like 38 looks like it's going to be partners the whole season. If you're linked up with the same partner all season, I like a final with that partner.
Totally fine. I like
you've grown to love them as either love them or hate them, and you want to see it.
And you learn how to work together.
Yeah.
But this way where
it's about being a partner, then with that person, you know, whether it's a rival or an ex or a best friend or whatever it is, it makes sense. But it just reminded me of how we ended the last flagship season with Casey winning because Casey was virtually performing the worst in the final. Her performing the worst. So then she was rewarded by beating the other worst person in the final. So she got the best person in the final. Meanwhile, the best female in the final was running circles around everybody and loses because she's stuck with a lesser partner it just is like all such a ridiculous crapshoot that it makes the finals unlikable, and it honestly feels a little bit insulting to the viewers. Like I was watching an interview once, this is a sidebar, with Jack Antonoff, who's a producer, and he was talking about how much he loves like Game of Thrones and The Wires and stuff. The Wire, and he's like, because they don't treat the viewers like idiots, you know, and it's like they make it hard or they make it challenging to try to consume it all, or you know, you have to follow certain storylines. I feel like they're insulting us by just throwing darts at a wall and being like, okay, well, Casey, you know, you get to just pick whoever, and then you're just going to do a sprint up a hill and then run down and decode this lockbox. Like, it's insulting to watch them just like fuck with us with these really bad finals.
Well, at least they tried to make the points count for both, because that's obviously why Casey had like the least amount of points. Tori, who is the real champion of that season, who we'll never forget, she should have won that season based on points alone being carried over to the second day. So at least in this one, they let the points carry over. There was at least that, even though we have so many issues with this final, et cetera, et cetera. With all the problems that we've all had with it, I just think that there was enough drama. Like the fact that Angela gets sent home for not good. I thought that was like, I'm like, oh my, like it's just something to talk about, I guess, in a way. Like it added something for me to the final. Yeah, it sucks that she didn't get to beat day two, but like it's on her. You know, you can blame her for it and not a producer. She quit. It's not the producer's job technically to tell someone to stay in or out of the game. That should be something that they work on in their head. So.
Right, of course. But did she know? I don't feel like she knew she was quitting when she went to bed that night.
How do you, but that again, we're not in elementary school here. Like we know what quitting means in the show. TJ explained it to them. I cannot back her on that. But you love Angela.
I'm not backing her, but I just, everybody quitting, I thought was so lame with no consequence. Just like, oh, we're all going to quit.
No consequence. They lost their money. They had a chance to.
They should have been shamed. I like when TJ publicly shames people.
What was Tyson's bank account? $26,000? Are you
said
freaking
if he's
kidding
not getting
me?
the maximum prize, he doesn't. It's not worth it for him.
I don't care. $26,000 is insane, an insane amount of money just to get. I know after taxes, probably $20K, whatever. Yeah, but $20K just to be put in your bank account.
I mean, they probably were away from work for a month. Not saying that they make $20K in a month.
They get paid daily, though. They get paid weekly stipends.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm sure Tyson can like do a Patagonia post on Instagram for.
Yes. And I'm sorry. Yeah, I was going to say, Pamela, their job, they don't have real jobs anymore. Their jobs are social media. Huh?
Like if Dom is a construction manager and work for a month, is his company going to feel okay with that? I don't know. I'd like to think other people have regular jobs. I don't really know if Enzo has sponsorships. Not that
Enzo could probably use it.
I mean that's not my problem as a viewer.
What I'm saying is like, what does he's an insurance adjuster, you know? So is his company like super keen on him?
Enzo's an insurance adjuster.
Well, whatever Enzo is, if he knows that his company is not super keen on him coming out, he better win every damn time he tries to get away from work. And doing the doggy paddle in some rough water ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
No.
But I wonder, you know, I don't know. Maybe I have some recency bias. Like, I thought that I hated the Invasions of the Champions season. Like when I think back on it, I was like, no, I think that was a crappy bad season. But I recently rewatched it. I was like, actually, it's pretty good. So I wonder if maybe like in a year from now, I'll come back to this final and be like, okay, like I can watch this with a new set of eyes and be entertained. I don't know, but
I don't know. I don't think so though, because I've been also on Pluto watching the season where Paulie cramps out right before the finals. Right. And I'm like, I can't. It's heartbreaking. Like there was so much drama and you care so much. Like those shows were so freaking good.
Yeah. So I want people to tell us in the comments section what they think, because I feel like I'm opposite you, Liz. I thought the entire season was just not good. And I actually enjoyed these last two episodes, maybe because it was building up to actually someone actually finally winning. But please tell us in the comment section what you thought of the regular season versus the final versus just the whole season in general, because I feel like we're going to get a ton of mixed reviews. Yeah. And I don't think no one's right and no one's wrong. It's like everyone's just going to have a completely different opinion.
I feel like I'm coming off really scrambled and scatterbrained about certain things. Like it was entertaining, but the games and how the process of the final worked was disappointing.
Yeah. And overall for the season, my feeling is it was as good as it could be with no real interpersonal drama or concern about past relationships. And moderate competition. Like it was enjoyable, and a few people stood out as interesting and you're rooting for them, but other than that, what we want is all the past relationships, which is why having all the rookies and the everybody else just only detracts from what we like. we want the messiness of the past relationships. So to have this without any of that, and then the competition being fine, real weak sauce in the finale, was just like, it was all okay. I didn't hate the season, but I didn't love it. There's really nothing to more hate.
Pamela, that nicely.
And the analogy that we like is it's not always a show anymore that keeps you off of your phone, right? Like
exactly.
That's really what it comes down to. And that's what it was hard for me to do. Is like, you know, I'm watching the one with Alyssa and Angela and the pole wrestle in the first episode. And then when they roll into the next one, I'm like, oh God, like now I gotta stop kind of doing.
Are Angela and Tyler still together? No, I did.
Oh, I Googled that. Tell me why I Googled that.
Because someone said they broke up. And then it was like, haha, just kidding. Because I was like, oh, they just got that. I'm looking at her cookbook. Then all of a sudden everyone's quitting and it's over.
What season of Big Brother were they on together?
It's 20. Not keeping you totally invested 20. And away from your phone in this era where it's like 2 screens at once. It feels really great when you can like actually concentrate on something and be entertained by what's in front of you. And it's just not doing that. Like I kind of wanted to do something else.
I'm so with you, Jenna. You're so with you. The first whole hour, I was like, okay. Tense. Is Angela going to win? Is she going to lose? Oh no, who's she going to go into it? Then I'm into it. Enzo has a panic attack and I'm like, fuck this shit. And I start looking at Angela and Tyler's relationship and Angela's cookbook and how to make hot dogs out of carrot. And
ladies, this is the first, it's so weird that you're saying
and then I look back up, Angela's quitting and then everybody's quitting. And I was like, whoa, what?
Like I don't even note down. I know what you're going to say. And I don't even know if I can blame like the producers or you. I get where you're coming from. I think it's also just like the world and the climate that we're in, meaning like there's so much stimulation, there's so much consumption that maybe it could just be me. It could be like the end of a crazy
Jenna, it's not though. The entire
and I'm not
season
able to lock in because I'm like, I got to do other shit. Like I have very limited personal time. But there's so does everyone. I'm not saying like, well,
the entire season I've been doing this, watching the show, taking notes, looking at my phone.
Yeah.
But tonight was the only night where I was I watched the entire, I did not go on my phone.
The first episode,
it's so hard. It's just what audiences is now. And I feel really bad for all TV producers and all of television and all of films. Like, I can't even believe that films are like 3 hours long now, you know, like it's so hard to keep the attention of everybody now. It just is like, it's not even their fault. It's just, we have so much shit going on that how are we supposed to be like completely locked in? Yeah.
But it's also adjacent. Like every question you have about things, you can like look up, like if I'm watching it, I'm like, who is that actress?
Yes.
Like it leads to, even if it's like supplementary research, that's what, so I'm looking up Angela, then that goes, and then I started playing Sudoku because I was like,
oh my God, Pamela.
After the show was over, I'm like, Sudoku.
I'm going to go back and watch Angela and Tyler. Is it Tyler? Their season of Big Brother?
It's a great season because it's also Fessy, Casey. You know half the people.
Fessy and Casey on it though. Is Josh on it
Bailey, too? No Josh.
Thank God.
Fessy, Casey, Fessy's girlfriend. You see Fessy being sweet, a nice guy, which kind of.
All right, I'm intrigued to go watch it because
Angela, Tyler, Casey, Brett is who people Bailey said reminded you of. A lot of our viewers have said that you remind them of Brett, so check that out.
I mean, I got to watch season 20 of Big Brother apparently.
Season 20 is pretty good.
All right, ladies, before we go, I want to mention that we need to talk a little bit about the Challenge 38 will be the next thing that we're covering here on the YouTube. We have no idea when this damn thing is going to air yet. I would love for it to start airing and like give us like 2 weeks off and then go into it at Thanksgiving or something. I don't know, or Halloween. I don't know.
I think I need a break.
I know you need a break. I'm just saying in general, it would be nice because I think 38, and I'm going to say it here now, 38 is going to be the redemption season of the challenge.
Ooh, 38.
I say that for many reasons, but you all already know why.
I think coming from now seeing a network version, we're going to be really refreshed to see some OGs and some messiness and some relationship shit that we care about. So I think it's going to be a real, come back home feeling. I think
this is do or die for the challenge. What they need to do, and I know it's already been filmed or whatever, but I hope that they went back and said, look, Let's show the messiness. Let's show the hookups. Let's not be so focused on just political strategy. Let's show some drama. Like let's go old school for one season and let's just see what happens. If it gets us canceled, great. We had a good run. We had 38 goddamn seasons of this thing. Like, it's okay. We already have our flagship off onto CBS now. Like, it's okay if MTV gets canceled, but let's just give them let's give them one last party. Come on.
One last hoorah.
Give me a damn hoorah. I know they're probably trying to push to get to challenge 50, like this 50th season of the challenge. But we're at 38. You'll be lucky to get to 40 at this rate with how crappy this show's become. Just give us some old school raw footage. Come on.
Yeah. And then if that doesn't work out, we need to have like just an app only, the challenge after dark, where it's like you have to be a certain age to watch and we just get as messy as we want. Like, it's just like
put it on HBO Max. Yeah, come on.
All the F's, fighting, effing, farting. They can do all the things. Yeah, it's like
farting, all the F's.
Farting,
yeah,
all the old school
exactly.
things. Yeah,
that's what always made the show so unique, is that it had reality TV. It was real world versus real rules. Like,
it was the best.
Real world on the challenge. It was real world with competitions. It was everything.
Everything we want.
Lost its touch. It's lost its touch. So
yeah.
All right. Well, listen, we don't know when we'll be back on the YouTube. Maybe we'll try to do something fun.
A Big Brother finale recap.
We could do that on the YouTube too. Why not? Yeah, so that's coming up soon. But anyways, if you want to check out our Patreon, it's in the link right here or right
check it
here.
out. We cover Big Brother.
Covering Big Brother.
It's so fun. We like Big Brother. We like you guys.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. For Jen and Pam, I'm Dan, and we'll see you soon right here on the Challenge After Show. Bye.